pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, compatriots, distinguished visitors, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jim Rosdick, and as Doug has just said, I have the honor of being this year's state president of the South Carolina Society Sons of the American Revolution. So on behalf of the approximately 850 compatriots of the South Carolina Society, I would like to welcome all of you, those of you who are physically with us today, and those of you who, like me, are virtually with us today, for this 239th commemoration of the Battle of Eutaw Springs. I want to mention that while we have been commemorating this battle for a number of years now, this is the first year that we have commemorated it as a designated SAR national event. That is a great honor for the South Carolina Society, but it would not have happened, it could not have happened without the hard work over the years of compatriots like Doug Doster, Ewart Irick, and all the men of the Battle of Eutaw Springs chapter, which I am proud to say I am also a member of. And we have been hosting this commemoration over many years. Thank you, compatriots, and thank you everyone else for participating. Godspeed.
I'm very pleased to be here to honor the Maryland troops that were here over 200 years ago to help win the Battle of the South for us. So thank you very much.
On behalf of the daughters, South Carolina daughters of the American Revolution, I bring you greetings, and I ask that you join with me to commemorate all of the patriots, to honor them that served here to bring us freedom at the American Revolution. Thank you.
I'm Jay Villo. I'm the first vice president, and it's an honor to bring greetings on behalf of the state president, Lindsey Yon, as we remember the patriots who fought here.
Thank you. Our South Carolina Sons of the American Revolution state president is James Rostick. He wasn't able to be here today, and he asked me to thank everyone for coming, folks who came from distance, folks who live in the area. And no matter the case, last year there was a hurricane going on, if you recall, at this time, which put a little damper on the event. But today is a beautiful day to commemorate this significant battle in our American Revolution. On behalf of South Carolina SAR, thank you for coming.
Welcome to everybody. I'm delighted that, thanks to strong effort, Doug Doster and his wife Lynn, against tremendous odds and opposition, for me to be welcoming you today. That congratulations to them. They have pulled it off with the assistance of many other individuals. I'm president of the Battle of Eutaw Springs chapter SAR. I want to welcome all of you from afar or near, with a kinship here or the common thread that runs within all of us with our patriotic ancestors. Thank you for being in attendance for our 239th commemoration of the Battle of Eutaw Springs.
Our speaker today is Mr. David Ruhr. He's not a stranger to some of you I know. You may have heard him before. He is with us today. He's going to make an address to us at this time. David?
The springs of Eutaw, quote, will become immortal by your victory. I dropped a tear over the heroes who fell in your well-fought battle, but I felt satisfaction in reflecting on the 500 of our countrymen out of 1,700 who stood to be cut to pieces in defending the liberties of their country. Benjamin Rush to Nathaniel Greene. Quote, Eutaw's was certainly the most bloody and brilliant of any battle that had been fought during the war. The Maryland line's reputation was higher in consequence of the Battle of Eutaw than if the Marylanders had been with our illustrious General Washington at the taking of Lord Cornwallis. That was George Locke's, a famous Marylander, to Nathaniel Greene. Dr. William Burnett wrote Greene, warmest congratulations on the glorious action at Eutaw. Nothing could have been more flattering than to have the shared dangers of that day. Think, band of brothers. On October 7th, on the siege lines at Yorktown, General Washington had this order read, October 7th, congratulating the Southern Army upon the late victory obtained over the enemy at Eutaw Springs. Washington acknowledged Greene's admirable leadership, his judicious dispositions on the present occasion, and the exemplary vigor with which Greene executed them. Quote, this is Washington, the national military fame increased by the achievements of that day entitled every individual, all 2,200 of them, that shared in them the thanks of our country. Seeing this field in pictures, in a brochure, on your computer is not the same thing as being on the real battlefield. Don't take for granted that this battlefield will be saved. Don't take for granted that it will be appropriately interpreted. It's not. And don't take for granted that monuments or statues that you might put here or interpret here will always be with us and not taken down. The soldiers who fought here at Eutaw were real, and so was their struggle, their blood, their sweat, their wounds, and their deaths. All of this is real at Eutaw. For what? For our liberty and their independence. They put their own bodies physically present, we've all heard it, in harm's way. The soldiers who fought here achieved many other things. And I'll just give you a real quick example. Because like us, they're people who have lives in addition to the military. Peter Ory would go on to become the Register of Deeds for Charlestown. Francis Marion has blown my mind. Served 3 Senate terms in the Senate, South Carolina Senate, and twice he introduced bills for free public education and for the education by the public of African Americans. Francis Marion. Huzzah. Andrew Pickens served as one of the commissioners who finally resolved the boundary between Georgia and South Carolina. I know you think it's all the river, but there are sections back then that were not. So he resolved our state's boundary. Otho Williams founded Williamsport, Maryland. More importantly, he became the first port authority of the city of Baltimore. And Baltimore then was a different city than it is today. But what are we doing? Wade Hampton, who fought here, commanded the second largest group of American troops in the War of 1812 and the largest defeat of Americans by all Canadians in the Battle of Chautauqua, Canada. Thomas Taylor, who was fighting in Sumter's regiment, though Sumter wasn't here, did what? He beat out his friend Sumter later with his real estate development called Columbia versus Sumter's real estate development called Statesburg to be our state's capital. They didn't just fight here, they did, but they gave themselves to our land. They made themselves real. So the question for us is, what are you going to do today, this week, this year, to put your mark on the battlefield? Monuments are what we were then and what historic place or historic event took place. They remind us of past persons doing special deeds on significant places. No matter where you follow monuments, that's what they are. They remind you, but more importantly, monuments and or statues prompt us to learn our history. The soldiers, 2,200 of them, and those on the other side fighting for king in their country, are asking us today, 2020, to stop being virtual, stop being ordinary, and let us all become, in your own way, revolutionary.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord cause his face to mercifully shine upon you both this day and forevermore. Amen.